It's good to be back with you. In two sessions, I will take on chapter 11 of DAP 2020, which is post contract management. I put the cart before the horse, not taken on the issue of standard contract document, because I find that a lot of questions that arise over there are answered in the post contract management. So we'll do that first and then go to as to what the standard contract document is. Um, this is an important facet of complete defense procurement. It's a non-glamorous stuff because it deals with many issues which are a problem to resolve, and it also implies imposing a lot of liquidated damages, sorting out problems. Therefore, it is not glamorous. It is it becomes a bugbear. Nobody possibly wants to handle such a thing, but the importance of it cannot be undermined. It is extremely important. A case that you struggle to put through to the contract stage can be undermined in a jiffy in the post-contract management is not handled efficiently. Just to cite an example of this, I will give you an example from my life. There was no names, no, not even of the equipment, but there was a vehicle that had undergone almost 2.5 years of trials, and altogether a procedure which underwent almost 3.5 years. And approaching the fourth year, it went into the CNC, where also there was a problem when the courts were opened. And finally, we got to signing the contract. And there was a very marginal difference between the two competing bidders whose equipment has passed. And both of them were top players of the Indian industry, not to say only of Indian defense industry. So everything well, everybody was congratulating each other because the kind of vehicle that was held on the inventory of the Indian Army, the particular company had stopped producing this for the past 2 years. And now the General Staff Reserves was being depleted almost to zero. And certain units, combat units, were now becoming deficient. And everybody was congratulating themselves that, look, we've done a fine job. And the L1 vendor was told, please expedite. It's 8 months that is required, but please expedite your delivery of the first batch, which was, I think, around 120 vehicles, as fast as possible. The L1 vendor, big company that had met the expectations. And within 6 months, the vehicle's 125 first batch was available for delivery. It was in a central vehicle depot, Delhi Cant. One fine morning, the erstwhile WE Directorate, Weapon Equipment Directorate, now known as Combat Development Directorate, gets a call from the erstwhile MGO branch, Master General Ordnance branch, now known as the Master General Staff branch. There's a problem in the delivery of the vehicle. The vehicle is not the same. Bombshell. It felt like a bombshell. And let me tell you, these kind of things are never handled by the MGO or the MGS branch. It lands up with the WE or the CD Directorate branch itself, though the MGS branch is responsible for post-contract management. Well, this happened. Uh, the person who was the head of aerospace and defense division of that particular company took a flight running to Delhi when he heard about it. Itself in WA Directorate, a whole lot of discussions taking place as to what's happened. Actually, what had happened is that during the ATP, in fact, the first vehicle that was dismounted and inspected, the officer of DGQA was pretty diligent in his application. And he observed in the engine chassis, right at the bottom side, the plate said a particular terminology, which actually was the terminology of the engine, which was different to the terminology which had been tried out by one alphabet, the leading alphabet. Now, he immediately rendered a report that the vehicle is different, it's not the same. As simple as that. And the bombshell fell. That means the contract has to be terminated, liquidated damages have to be imposed on this, penalty damages, and now there is a question of blacklisting of the particular company. We are down to base zero in the GS reserve. The units are now crying for the vehicle after almost 4 years of dogmatic reiterations of trials and reiterations of 101 things. We managed to get this vehicle through, and now it is going to fall. Nobody willing to bell the cat. everybody telling WA Directorate, well, things have gone wrong. It's wrong. It just may be different, that they may be trying to act funny. They have now given us a different vehicle, less capabilities, etc., etc., etc. So discussion was held within WA Directorate, and well, uh, there was one sensible guy who, in the erstwhile provisions, the trial vehicle used to be returned to the vendor concerned after the CNC had been completed and the L1 was declared. It was not retained, it was returned. Well, you can call it gut feeling, you can call it godsend. Actually, gut feeling is an issue which is through years and years of experience and perceptions that you get. It's not just coming from the blue. That particular officer ignored the request of the particular company to return the particular vehicle that was tried out. He ignored it. Legally, he was supposed to return it, but something told him, keep it. And well, this vehicle now was available. So a solution had to be worked out. Yes, we wanted the vehicle, but we had to do it correctly, in a correct or proper manner. We had to ascertain that the company has not done something wrong in the complete system. Though we were consist that, okay, I mean, the person told us, the head of their defense department told us very clearly, face to face, that look, it's a terminology change only, and basically it's done as part of a marketing strategy by all companies, where a new component is put, actually it's the same or better component, but it is a terminology change has taken place, and for some reason we have changed we forgot to that plate that we put was of the new engine and not of the old brand of engine. But that had to be ascertained. There's no other solution to the subject matter. You can't go on what the company is saying in defense procurement. So now some wise guys said, very good. Now produce the old vehicle which was tried out, put it next to it, strip the damn vehicle completely. It's not as per the acceptance test procedure, but let's make a thing over there, add on to the acceptance test procedure, and for the first vehicle that is to be tried out, to be accepted, and let's go through it completely. So the vehicle, at the same time, lift out of the engine, the new engine. We already have the test parameters of the trial vehicle. It was carried out as a dry dock testing also. Let's put it to dry dock, even if we have to send it all the way to Ahmednagar. So a composition of team was composed, which is a professional officer's valuation, and it's composed of all people like DGQA, EME, DGME, even from CVRD, to carry out a complete assessment of the vehicle and render a report within 30 days. Within 30 days, the vehicles now which were standing on the road were now to be entered into the compound, but not accepted, but kept over there. And there were another 350, 400 vehicles that are there in the factory of that particular company waiting to roll out. Well, 30 days more. Acceptance of the vendor taken. And not only this, gentlemen, the competing vendor who didn't make it to L1 and lost it by a few thousand rupees had got the whiff of it. And that's the transparency in the system where it leaks. And that's a transparency which actually assists in the complete system, in the integrity of the complete system. At times it's a bugbear, but it assists in the integrity of the complete system. The competing vendor is also sitting and sniffing at your door, saying, now shut up the case, repeat the case, I will offer my vehicle again. He can't get the thing, but then he can go through the whole procedure. Well, who's going to go through another 4 years of it in any case? If it didn't work out, you had to go through it. Well, the complete vehicle was stripped. Simultaneously, the engine was taken to a particular lab, and it was tested out. The parameters were compared. The complete vehicle was stripped. The components were checked. There's no change in the transmission, in the system that are there, the suspension system, everything. I mean, final drive, etc. Everything was checked. And finally, after 30 days, we got a report, a commendable job done by the POV. We got a report, a very deliberate report, which proved that the vehicle is same or the engine performance is better. Obviously, it was a new engine, and that was a trial vehicle engine, so that the engine performance of a new engine will far better than the engine that has been used in trials, and then it has been put on a test bed. And all parameters are the same, marginal differences within acceptance, and that also on the positive side. So the vehicle was accepted. Almost 5 years of labor that had gone in had successful. Everybody was heaving a sigh of relief, and we went through it. And that is the importance of efficient post-contract management. There are many examples of this that have taken place. This is one example. So while I've given you an example, I will go through this slide which involves post-contract management. It is not very interesting to hear, but then it is possibly the most important thing both for the MGS branch, the CD directorate, as well as for the vendor concerned. Extremely important, and DGQM. The post-contract management commences on the signing of contract and it terminates only after all actions post last delivery have been completed. The responsibility of that is primarily of the service headquarters concerned. And contract, it involves the contract administration, which is the preparation, distribution of the contract document as per the terms and conditions of the RFP, duly moderated by what has been taken place in the RFP during the CNC. The management of it, ensuring the timely payment and deliveries, the management of all the bank guarantees that are there, quality assurances, testing and ascertaining whether it's the same, extensions and contract amendments. They're both the extensions that are required as well as the contract amendment. Associated with this is the imposing of the liquidated damages, contract closure termination in case the conditions have been violated, arbitration also is involved, and any other issue that may arise. MOD acquisition is responsible for the monitoring of it. However, for the purposes of monitoring, the SHQ will submit a quarterly report to the DG acquisition with all post-contract management issues. In case during my time, I'm sure now also, the DG acquisition used to take a presentation for the officers responsible on the issue of the post-contract management of all the major cases. Now, there is a first of production model that is there in case they find that the equipment is not fully satisfying the requirement, but the SHQ feels that with minor changes it can meet the requirement. While the contract is given, subject to the issue that a first contract management, first of production model will be tested out, ascertain that all the requirements that have been told to it has been introduced correctly. So the provision and timelines are supposed to be as per the RFP as well as the contract clause. Post the successful FOPM, then only the bulk production clearance is given. This is primarily related to the issues of the DPSUs in which the first of production model is done, possibly didn't go through the full trials, and the bulk production clearance is given thereafter. In case of a private vendor, also it is given accordingly. In delay of this, the vice chief equivalent have got powers of condoning up to 25% of the total period, the DG acquisition up to 50% of the total period. Now, if the vendor is responsible, the duration of delay in according to the BPC is deducted from the time schedule of the first lot of deliveries. So the first lot of deliveries will be decreased by the amount, how much it has been delayed by the amount of period. That means that much faster he'll have to give the first lot of deliveries. Management of the contract, that is post-contract management of the contract, become an extremely important issue in which all agencies are involved. While responsibilities are laid down, but it crosses boundaries, and there is a lot of discussions and a lot of cooperation between different agencies to come to conclusions as to how the contract can be best managed and to go through the hurdles in the legal provisions and the stipulations that have been laid down. And I'm happy to say that contracts are managed in a very good conditions, except certain cases where it falls out, and that is basically because of lack of foresight and lack of knowledge. Thank you so very much. Till the next session, in which I will look at the integrity pact bank guarantee flow, as well as some important clauses.